You want the startup time stuff. This is a problem. You gotta get this locked down. Everybody, come on in. Come on to my house. I wonder if Come On to My House was this year. That'd be funny. No, the heat just turned on. That should sound great. This thing's messed up again. All right, we'll get it. T-, don't worry. I don't know if it's going to work there. We're going to have to go over. Not very professional look, but you know, we just go with it. Come on to my house. Come on to my house. No, I'm thinking of, I think there was another version of it. I think there's a Dr. Demento song. Maybe it was late 70s. I don't remember. So, you know, welcome to the non-prepped Chartsweep videos. Whatever. There's so many. This is the thing, right? Like, what's going on now, like new shit, it's up for debate, right? Nobody knows if it's going to matter. But the past, everybody knows what mattered and is invested in some, shit. And so, you didn't mention the wipers. Oh my God, fuck. I didn't mention the wipers. I didn't mention the wipers completely. But, I have the box set, CD box set, whatever. I mean, I love wipers. We talked about Is This Real in 80. 81, I don't think we got to America. But anyway, 82, the opening of the Hacienda, 1982. Showed this in the last one at the end, but yeah. No, 1982 and 83 are both. 83 is really, any music critic is going to tell you that's like one of the signature years in the history of pop music, like full stop. 83 is like 1965. It's endless innovation. It's endless pop fandom, fan obsession. And that's my Hacienda membership card. It's an actual Hacienda membership card from the 80s. Like it's unsigned. I got it from someone like sourced it. It's the actual membership card. Yeah. One of my prized possessions. But anyway, yeah, I have like all the stupid comps too that Peter Hook made possible. They're all the same. 67, I wouldn't put 67 on the same level. By 67, I had talked about this in the Richard Goddard video. By 67, it's so caricatured and a loving spoonful are coming. Like 65 even had Paul Revere and the Raiders. So, I mean, you still have this hangover, and the commitment to the Summer of Love is more about like I always bitch about scenesterism and shit. You got to read it's out of print, I think. But it's really important. Like people are really there's a lot of divisive commentary about Bill Graham, but like if you read his biography, which I think is out of print, but I have it. I love it. It's one of the only biographies where it's got this endless backstory, like about when he was 6 years old. But it's like 150 pages before it even gets to him having any involvement in music. But it's so fascinating because he's a Holocaust survivor, comes over here. His life is like the basis for Dirty Dancing. He worked in all those kind of like stereotypically certain ethnicity clubs upstate in New York. That's how he made his bones, was like throwing dice and working as a fucking waiter and shit in the Catskills. I mean, it's unbelievable on how many levels Bill Graham's life is fascinating. But my point being about 67 is like, when you hear him tell those stories, it's like, yeah, these are just people. And most of them were fucking flakes. Like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Anyway, yeah, 82. 82 is where it really, pops off. I didn't pull anything. I'm not pulling records for these. I just don't have time to like prep as if this is some planned fucking whatever. But that has its ups and downs. I miss things. I'm a huge Replacements fan, and I missed Sorry Ma. Somebody mentioned it in the chat right at the end of the video, and I was like, fuck, because I love that. Customers, like I'm in love with the girl. So in 82, it's funny because we talk about how hangovers happen in all these years, right? Fuck, I didn't tweet this out. I told people on Twitter I'm doing this shit. I don't know if anybody's gonna fucking. I don't want to post a fucking live stream on Twitter. I don't know. Like, I don't really give a shit. They're going to be on YouTube. People can go watch them later. I don't know. It's like weird. Anyway, what I was saying, the hangover here, like, oh God, I already went off about freeze frame. Like, I can't repeat the shit I already went off on in the last one as we talked about what's coming up, in 82 with Tattoo You. And so the hangover here is that like big arena rock is still big arena rock. And it's, you know, on the album charts, it's, you know, Stevie Nicks, Rolling Stones, Tattoo You, Foreigner. We talked about, I went off on Foreigner 4. It's such a fucking fantastic record if you like music at all. You know, Journey's Escape in America. These are all the big things that are happening. But, you know, in England, the entire thing totally cracks wide open. We're past the Human League, and all of a sudden we're like, we've gone into this place where it's just going nuts. And it's just, it doesn't change there necessarily as fast as you'd think either, because Foreigner 4 was also huge in England. And, you know, I think the thing that's nuts for me, if you want to talk about a single data point that sort of differentiates the delta between the US sort of distinguished pop fan and the UK, it's that in '82 you have charting LPs from a Haircut 100, Kraftwerk, like the Man Machine charts over there heavy. UFO, well, that's not, that's a, XTC English Settlement was huge because it's called fucking English Settlement, and it's so, like I talked before about the oral history tradition going back to the fairy tales and you know, Tin Pan Alley shit and all that, the way that works in England. You know, and it's also the big sort of peak of two other things, which is the emergence of Oi. They call it UK 82, like, which is like GBH and The Exploited, and there's just so many of these fucking bands. You can run down lists of like all of the big UK 82 punk bands, because like even Amoebics and Anti-Nowhere League are coming up at this point, and like Discharge and shit. And it's just, this is when like punk totally changes on both sides of the Atlantic. Because in America, it becomes an actual social phenomenon. Combat rock starts like suburban kids sort of under, it's not just in the cities anymore. It's not just in LA and New York and like hip cities and even Chicago and shit. The whole suburban high school, this is when the character of like John Bender in The Breakfast Club, that character starts to become a template in America in '82 with combat rock. That, you know, that's the turnkey that opens this whole concept of a new sort of identity teen politics. That's a little bit, it's got a little bit of machismo. It's a little, not machismo, but there's a masculinity to it, which the New Romantics and Soft Cell and all this other stuff don't have at all. So there's that whole thing, the homophobia around the New Romantics, and well, even before that, the Human League and the stuff we talked about in '81. It creates a big division in the adoption of this music in America. And I talked about how Devo was a, you know, a sort of code word signifier for homophobia as well. People yelled Devo at kids that just wanted to dress different and express themselves. And this is one of the things that music has been a driver for. I don't tend to get into socio-political bullshit with music generally, because I think you're invariably going to overstate the case if you do. But you have to really look back and say that when you have all of that happening at the same time, that For Those About to Rock, We Salute You is at number one. And, you know, in England, you've got new wave British heavy metal going off with Motorhead, Iron Maiden, and all that shit. The identity value of popular music is a sort of, you know, it's a sanctuary for certain types of kids. And they're not, you know, by volume, by number. Yeah, they're not the ones who are, there's not enough of them that you're going to like crack all the charts and dominate pop culture. But there's enough happening. Well, it meant nerd, but it really had a massive homophobic undertone. I mean, it's just, there's no doubt. And, you know, the kids were getting beaten up and shit or hassled by macho guys driving, you know, fucking cucks and, you know, Monte Carlos and shit. Was the Monte Carlo even? No. What am I thinking about? The Camino. Anyway, you know, in '82, we know it's starting. We know that we're about to get to the point where in late '82 we get Thriller and we get this crossover, you know, this explosion of it's sort of like intelligent dance music in a way. Thriller, when you think of all the people, I mean, Toto's involved in it, really technical studio band people. Obviously Quincy Jones is a mastermind of it, and you're talking about one of the really early synthesis records of true pop. You know, not in the way like Blue Monday is this like insane club electronic, like just how fucking far can we take the technology that exists right now? You know, and they're running tape around the entire fucking studio just to keep these loops going, and you know, all that shit. You even while that's happening, and yes, it's historic. It's, you know, that's only 12-inch all time. It's kind of a bullshit thing. Thriller is like already there with all of the technology available and how you can nail it to, you know, appealing pop. Yeah, no, I agree with that comment about that the kind of vagueness of the distinction between those two things. But yeah, so I mean, in the album sense, it's starting out like Freeze Frame. Jay Giles Band has now made this full pivot to new wave, and so that's really big. And this is in America I'm going on here, and we talked about how Hall & Oates had blown up, and we're making their sort of new wave pivot, you know, coming out of the Philly soul, you know, classic live, you know, big, huge band, like stage presence and respect with other musicians, circuit musicians and studio musicians. Now Hall & Oates had become this like pinup thing. And they're wearing they wore the makeup originally. That was the big joke about their debut and shit. But like at this point, they're going MTV, the early adopters. They won. Like anybody who called that shot, they won the 80s. You didn't have a fucking career if you didn't do it. And Hall & Oates somehow fucking did that. It helps that he's so fucking good looking, but and of course, I mean, there's no question the guy's fucking talent, but everything did become massively about image. I mean, a band like 38 Special can't survive the 80s. You know, by the time it takes them until like 86 to put like a vaguely new wave album cover out. They never changed their sound. So that whole 80, 81 cigarette stench kind of hangover thing, it's really over by the end of 82. And one of the big transitions, the band that I really pin a lot of this on is the Go-Go's, because Beauty and the Beat, you got a bunch of like two solid massive hit singles off it, but it's not a gimmick. The fact that they're a girl group is not a gimmick. The focus is on like, they can fucking play. And a lot of people were in a kind of socially, you know, positive way, reinforcing the fact that they're not like dressed up like the fucking women in the back of a Robert Palmer video. You know, they're owning their own look in the same way that Stevie Nicks owned her own look. And you know, the fact that they come out of the hardcore like LA punk scene and the Mask and you know, all of that, the credibility is ridiculous, but there's no intersect with that in fucking mainstream culture. You don't get any fucking credit for having been at the Mask, having, you know, played a show with the fucking Germs. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody knows who the fuck you're talking about. The guy's dead. You know, and they did it without it being like a sellout thing. They're just, I don't know. I think it's fucking cool. Yeah, they got shit from people. You read, you know, we got the neutron bomb, and you read a bunch of other history, you know, on that West Coast scene. People felt like, okay, well, fuck you now. But they were just like, no, fuck everything. We wanted to do this, and we wanted to do it in a way that we couldn't do, you know, at your level. It's that tension, you know. But it, you know, without oversimplifying it, you also have Joan Jett running in exact same parallel. This is all spring 82. When the weather turns in 82 and it starts to get nice, there's just a massive fucking explosion, just like Celebration. I don't know what it was, because it's such a bad recession. The biggest number of unemployment we had to this point until last week, which is fucking 10 million people in 2 weeks. Like, I can't even think about how fucked we are long term. Like, you're talking about for like baby boomers. Now you're going to have COVID babies, like people who were born during this fucking insanity. My point is, in 82, they had the biggest unemployment roll ever, which was 682,000 or something, or 85. And it's a legendary number for anybody who studies, you know, and knows about social and economic history. 82 is the bottom of the American 70s recession, that whole thing. And in England too, it's terrible. There's a need, there's such a sense of like being under the cosh and just squashed by how fucking bad everything is, and how all these companies, the Roger and Me is going to get filmed soon after this in the mid 80s. And just, you know, the failure and the beginning of the hard collapse of American manufacturing. This whole landscape is so fucking depressing. And there's this kind of, the kids are seeing all of this pain and whatever. And all of a sudden MTV comes out and bands are servicing these images that are like incredibly exciting and fanciful and fantastic. And the music is just fucking grade A fucking pop, but completely transformed via technology, electronics, etc., to sounding so fucking like new, novel. It's the same melodies, the same fucking song structures. You know, the humanly, I mean, this is like basic verse, chorus, verse, girl group shit. But it's played through these new sounds no one's ever heard before. You know, synthesizers were an embarrassment that you really mashed down in the mix when they were used early on. You know, Joy Division's an early adopter of loud synths in a pop context, not in like a prog context of, you know, Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and all that shit. Anyway, so in spring '82, Joan Jett blows up, and she's got I Love Rock and Roll in the charts in the U.S. Beauty and the Beat's there, and Olivia Newton-John is still big with Physical. But you have this weird thing happen in the summer, and I remember this. It was so fucking oppressive, which is the Chariots of Fire theme by Vangelis. This song was so huge and just omnipresent. Like what comes in '83 in a similar way is The Police's Every Breath You Take, but that's a song that's like a very classic pop song and a ballad, which is a really good ballad is a sure ticket to fucking immortality. But the theme from Chariots of Fire by Vangelis is totally instrumental. And we'd had the theme from, I talked before about Hill Street Blues and The Greatest American Hero. And like this whole thing is a very weird undercurrent of the early 80s is these TV and movie theme things. We get An Officer and a Gentleman, we get Against All Odds, and this whole vibe, Arthur, theme from Arthur, Christopher Cross better be, if COVID takes Christopher Cross, I am going to fight COVID. I'm going to find it. I'm going to fuck that shit up. We need to protect Christopher Cross. I'm not having that shit. So 82, they rush out. Rick Springfield gets Success Hasn't Spoiled Me Yet out. Doesn't really do shit. There's one half-ass single. But the album charts are the referendum on what's sticky. When you look at the album charts, and you go through it, that's how you know it's sticking in the popular consciousness. Things that have a long shelf life. Which is weird, I say that, and the immediate contradiction is like the long burning success of Paul McCartney's Tug of War. Like it was like number one for a month and a half or some shit. Really weird. But yeah, so summer, the Go-Go's and Joan Jett in the spring in America has this like, excitement, but then the Human League's Dare comes out in June or May, I think. Anyway, it really takes off. Don't You Want Me was so massive in America on FM radio. And this is a lot of this is driven by fans, by people calling the radio station, young kids calling the radio station, being play the fucking Human, play this. Like that's a real motion. That really happened. Kids calling radio stations to request songs, like that's a fucking thing. And it wasn't like the Human League, yeah, they had backing and stuff, but like this isn't like Instamatic. The record label's not making the Human League happen. People are mostly, and it was a big change. No colossal breakthroughs in technology. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Joe, that the simplicity and the kind of there's a monoculture to production, to music production, and that we work in studios and you see it every day. It's like, click that, and I think honestly the standout for that was like when Auto-Tune came in. It would just be like, make me sound like that. How do they do that? And the guy in the studio is just like 400th fucking time. The effects that rappers, hip hop artists are putting in their vocals. I talked in one of the random videos when I was first starting doing this about Post Malone, he's just got his signature, fucking effects box. But you know what? So did fucking Ministry. Al Jorgensen, he developed his own style. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so while this exciting new stuff is coming out, you still have, absolutely predictable, dominant, male studio schlock bands like Asia, Toto, you have John Cougar. I mean, I love these things, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, that 38 special sort of bar music is like here, and then like way the fuck over here is, and they're both on the chart at the same time, is the Human League's Dare. But yeah, I mean, 38 Special Forces was huge. Fucking Toto 4, Asia, brutal, and fucking Survivor. Eye of the Tiger is 82. Rocky, whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's oof. There. I mean, there's a lot of grim stuff around this time. But yeah, toward into the fall, then you get Fleetwood Mac releases Mirage, which, oh my God, one of my favorite fucking albums. I mean, I'm a big McVie guy, songwriting wise. I love her. I love the way her voice lives and works through a verse and a chorus is just like, I mean, I love almost all Fleetwood Mac, going back to Peter Green and everything, but like Mirage is so fucking cool. It's such a good record. I mean, Hold Me is just one of my favorite songs ever. All their 80s singles. I love Tango too. I mean, I had tweeted out Got a Hold on Me, that song that they never finished for Mirage, that McVie does solo in 84 with like the completely over the top Mick drum tom thing, like do 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 do. It's like, oh my god, it's weird, but me being a drummer has something to do with it. Someone else called out too, Nebraska hits this year. I mean, Nebraska did okay, but I think they had to work really hard to keep that in the charts. It never tops it. You know, it never goes. And where's it peak? Nebraska peaks at number 3 for 2 weeks in November, 3 weeks in November, and then it pretty much dies. So it's there, but I think it was kind of a push, as you would have. But so, you know, before I get into the singles charts and really start pulling apart, you know, other genres and shit, the end of 82, what sets up 83, Men at Work's Business as Usual, Stray Cats, Built for Speed, and and Combat Rock. These 3 records are like, it's like, this is when New Wave, we've already had New Wave as a concept. McLaren and the Pistols have been talking about it since like 1980 to get fucking punk off the tip of everyone's tongue, because punk's already becoming stupid. Or, you know, I was fucking roasting Chelsea, the other one. And it's the concept of those 3 sorts of new wave, which is like Anglophile new wave, which is like, you know, well, Men at Work aren't English, but Austrophile. You know, the idea of the new, like, because Men at Work are in America viewed as like a dog's body of the Police, you know, and they got a lot of shit for it, and they sort of deserve it. But Business as Usual was just an iconic fucking album. Every teenager owned this album. And that image, that yellow and black image of the cover is like, I mean, it's like the McDonald's logo. It was so absolutely like part of the fabric of being a teenager or a music fan, or just, I don't know, a fucking kid at this time. I'll never forget that. I mean, I remember it was in my sister's collection. I mean, it's so fucking iconic. And I thought they were a good band. I think what happened to them is just fucking, why did they and Crowded House have such a fucking tragic story? It's awful. Sucks, man. But anyway, yeah. And then Stray Cats, I talked about how they ripped everything off this other band, Lizard King. I never looked it up. Again, I don't have time to keep fucking getting this shit slammed out, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Kate, I mean, it's, for most people, Kate Bush is like working girl. Honestly, that's how a lot of her fan base like came out in the US. It took forever. That and marketing the tie-in with Gilmore, of course. But yeah, Avalon's 82, that's the big one. Oof, man, can't think about that'll take me a while to get that song out of my head once it gets in. But again, you know, I talked about how crazy the variance is, the delta is between England and the UK. I mean, England and the US. And I mentioned, you know, Haircut 100 stuff, but like Funboy 3, like, has juice over there. We talked before about how Madness, I mean, Pornography, The Cure went to number 8. Now, you know, we talk about, somebody made the joke that you can get on the Billboard Hot 100 or whatever by selling 500 copies of an album today. The same is largely true of the early 80s in England because no one had any fucking money. So like The Cure's Pornography charting in, what was it, May of 82 is like, that seems crazy because it's the most unlistenable, fucked up, insane, raging horror show of a early 20s goth nightmare, right? But like, yeah, it went to number 8, and it's because, you know, Chris Perry's at Polydor and he's jamming it up there. And what the fuck? But Hanging Garden charts on the singles charts, goes to 39 in England. What the? I mean, that's crazy. And you know, somebody mentioned Avalon. I mean, we got some massive stuff happening in England in the summer. Rio comes out, Duran Duran, May. That's also May, I think. And I mean, if you think about The Cure's Pornography and Duran Duran's Rio coming out in the same month, like, talk about worlds apart. There's also the coolest move in Rio, in the title track in the song Rio, to me. And like, no one ever did it. Like, I mean, of course, you got like a corny ballad and Save a Prayer, and Hungry Like the Wolf is just one of the best fucking pop rock guitar crossover, you know, the kind of shit that the Cure fans like. The guitar in that song is fucking righteous as shit. And it is such an original fucking tempo choice, like with being right in the fucking dance vein. God damn, Hungry Like the Wolf never fucking, it's as fresh as the fucking day it was released. But the thing with Rio is there's that, it's not the middle eight, I think it's a bridge when he's like, 'cause time is on my side or something. So the way he bridges that sentence and uses this weird, totally weird colloquialism of or something. It's like saying like in a song. Nobody had really done this in a way that was on, you know, the big pop sphere. It was so weird and casual and like, you know, kid and hip. I'll never forget that. I still, every time, I don't like Rio that much. I think it's such a forced, it's like the triplets of the, it's so overdone. It's like the double kick or the triple kick, heel toe. I don't know if he was a heel toe or a toe front, but I'm a heel toe double kick guy in It's a Miracle by Culture Club. And it's just like, dude, you're overplaying a lot. You know, it's like, it's a miracle. Like he's just fucking going off on the kick. And again, it's like you're told you're in this wimpy pop band. You're not a real drummer. You're not a real musician. You with so much pent up rage that you just start overplaying on that single because it's like a bug up your ass that month or whatever. Anyway. Yeah, Saxon charted. The Eagle has landed, May 1982. I mean, the English chart is so different in that way. I think, what was the, Imperial Bedroom was that year. We talked about a lot about Elvis Costello in a lot of these because this was his big, you know, late 70s, early 80s transition before everything kind of gets spun out. I mean, Trust is awesome. I talked about that. We're not there yet. But yeah, the big thing, and it comes over to America late, is Dexys. So Come On Eileen, that Safety Dance, like all that shit in America, those are like the definitive, you know, exemplars of quote one hit wonderville that we talk about. I think Come On Eileen is just like, it's one of the most flawless and original singles like ever. And I also love This Is What She's Like. Fuck, man. And I love that they had the flex of like a 8-minute spoken word fake acted pub conversation, like like people are listening to this for 3 fucking minutes of him just like mumbling. Oh my god, he was just the funniest fucking guy. I mean, it's sad how he went out like wearing a dress at Glastonbury or whatever it was, but oh god, This Is What She's Like. His whole like lispy way of singing, he's just so unhinged. Yeah, the la la part is maybe a bit much, but I love him. I love him, and I think when I think back about like 80s, it's like, yeah, it's Safety Dance, you know, Come On Eileen. What was the fucking what was the Men Without Hats song? I'm blanking because they had a couple. Yeah, Our House is right. I mean, they're so huge, but yeah, 99. We're gonna get to Prince. Don't worry. Yeah. That's terrible. Wall of Voodoo. Yep, Mexican Radio is this year, and oh god, the most punchable. I called him the most punchable singer of all time, Stan Ridgway. Like seeing him in the video for fucking Mexican Radio, I actually want to like hit the guy. He's so fucking annoying, and they're so full of shit, and they're such a bad like put on wannabe Coke band that actually could never get good Coke. Like, I don't know if that's too specific, but man, Wall of Voodoo suck. I fucking hate that shit. I had that fucking, there was a K-Tel compilation in the early 80s that is, it's orange. Go Discogs the shit. There's an orange K-Tel cassette vinyl comp of like new wave or hip shit. It's like one of the first alt rock comps in the spirit of like, you know, No Alternative and Born to Choose and all that shit that was big in the 90s. And there was a K-Tel comp that had that on it because IRS licensed them a whole bunch of shit. Flock of Seagulls was this year. Yep, Iran. But again, the whole like the pinnacle is not until next year. 83 is when like America and popular culture is like the fucking Flock of Seagulls hair. and like the jokes. And this is why I love the movie Hot Tub Time Machine, you know, because they nail a lot of that shit actually really well. And they got New Shoes and Scritti Politti and even In Excess more mid 80s in there. That movie's fucking hilarious to me. I mean, it's maybe it makes me sound like such a fucking washed Gen X dad fucking whatever, but like it's just really funny. It's like, what color is Michael Jackson? Like, you know, there's just some funny shit. I fucking hate Wall of Voodoo. Sorry, it's so bad. I mean, the guitar work in Mexican radio is pretty cool, but like, you know, I can get that from the Byrds or REM or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's not really for me. All right, singles. Where are we? Oh, just at the 30-minute mark. We're getting. This is not as out of control as I was fearing. But I'm gonna have to go. What I learned from the last one is I got to go through the singles charts faster, and I got to stop pulling them apart because it really dragged me down. But yeah, the singles charts are, like I said, in the beginning, it's this hangover stuff. It's physical. It's, you know, it's I Can't Go For That, which, you know, I Can't Go For That's not really fully in their new wave kind of vein yet. And that Hooked on Classics shit is still in there. And the Cars, Shake It Up and everything. Quarter Flash, we talked about that. Harden My Heart. And, you know, my favorite centerfold, Jay Giles, I fucking love. God, that song, I went off on it last night. Centerfold ruled the early 82 charts in America. It was number one for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. It was at number one, right? No, I'm going to do 83. I do a year per stream. I can't possibly, dude. Okay, if anyone in here doesn't understand the fact that I have like 4 kids and I've been married for a really long time, like this is pretty selfish and self-absorbed that I'm doing it. And there's a pretty good clock limit. Anyway, so this 1-2 punch that I talked about in the last video of the older 5th grade, 6th grade girls in my bus going to the back of the bus and screaming Centerfold and I Love Rock and Roll. That is the early 80s because I was in 2nd grade this year. So I'm remembering all of this. Like this stuff is not like weird flashes of barely half remembered, not remembered shit. Like this is all up here. And I Love Rock and Roll and Centerfold at the same time. And we got the beat too. Early 82 is when the singles charts and FM radio totally fucking slam over to MTV. Like it's on because Bad Reputation was, you know, this is past all that. That didn't do anything because that's like Steve Jones, Sex Pistols post whatever. Like Chris Spedding probably fucking played on that. He played on everything. You know, we're at the point where I guess this is a point I wanted to make. We're at the point where new novel artists are taking over the charts, and it's mostly the singles charts. We're not at the point where like Huey Lewis's Sports comes out yet. And that album is like a huge breaking point between the promise of all this novel new music and all these novel new looks and bands and going like they win. And we go back to album because albums make more money. And record companies aren't, that's, you know, duh. Did the fall get over to America? Jesus Christ, no. The first, I've shown it before, the first like really widely available fall record was on PBC in like 85. Until Bricks, like I don't know how the fuck anyone would have heard him besides college radio, you know? But yeah, I mean, what Hex Induction Hour was 82? I don't know. I mean, I'm a mid-80s fall guy. Like Mez would totally have he's said that to people in interviews. Like, I clocked you, you're a mid-80s fall guy. Like I'm a total Palace of Swords Reversed, that compilation. That is the definitive article for the fall for me. I mean, I like Curious Orange and I like Friends Experiment and I love Hit the North and you know, Rock and Records, the jazz rock records. I fucking love New Big Prince, man. That song fucking crushes. It's one of the best dirge rock songs fucking ever. New Big Prince on I Am Curious Orange by The Fall. Fucking look that shit up. Have I talked about Lexicon of Love, ABC? No, I haven't. I was never really big into ABC or Spandau, but these are massive, like Regal level new wave acts. Obviously, the fucking documentary Boys of the what's it called? Southern Boys of the Spandau Ballet documentary is fantastic. such a fucking great piece of history and filmmaking. Like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, again, I mean, a lot of people don't know. I haven't been tweeting this shit out. I'm not like promoting it. I have a Discord that I've had while I've been sort of like offline, and this really came out of the Discord channel because everyone's in lockdown, and I was like, fuck it. I've been for a year plus thinking about different ways I was going to re-up with YouTube, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to have the fucking time to do DSLR shit again. So I bought a couple of fucking, YouTube lights and bullshit, and I'm on a MacBook from like 2015. What the fuck ever? I just don't have time anymore. Like, if I can do this and it's saved, I never fucking stop talking. So, people can put it on like it's a podcast and, make their fucking breakfast or whatever tomorrow. It doesn't matter. But I'm not going to go on Twitter. I hate fucking Twitter. Twitter's just become such a stupid fucking self-promoting joke over the last 5 years. It's just fucking, it sucks. I hate it. It's so annoying. Yeah, Chronic Town. I got to do it. I got to do it to you. Wait, can I? So yesterday I like reorganized the entire collection, everything. I went through every CD. That's why I posted a few. Like I posted a Requiem for the CD EP, thing of all my CD EPs from the 90s. But hold on. Where the fuck is it? It's over here. I know it's over here. Yeah, that works. God, I hope I didn't just have my ass on the fucking screen. That would be embarrassing. Probably did. Anyway, yeah, 82. Wait, this is 1982. IRS Records. I painted so many fucking houses to this tape. I can't even tell you. This thing is truly fucked up. I spilled a Coke or something. Oh no, this is blood. Sorry, this is my blood. This is the one where I cut my fucking hand on the side of a gutter while I was painting a house, and I bled all the fuck over my tape of Chronic Town. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I wore this fucking thing out. This is as a as a document. This thing is just fucking legend, man. 598 list. They were so funny about this. They did it with Murmur too. 598 list, 5-song EP. REM was so concerned about the economics of their fucking albums that they put this, and they had a sticker on Murmur that said "Do not pay more than $5.99" or something. And they talked about it on Letterman when they performed on Letterman. That amazing fucking performance, which you gotta have it. South Central Rain and Jesus Christ, I'm blanking. But I taped it off a rerun of Letterman on the A&E channel. And I was like I don't even know what grade, but yeah, I like dubbed the audio off the VHS and I played that forever. Gardening at Night is the best ever REM song. Yeah, and that version of it particularly is just, it's the origin to me of shoegaze, is the song Gardening at Night from Chronic Town. That's to me where shoegaze starts. Cocteau Twins, Jesus and Mary Chain, all that stuff comes after. But if you listen to Gardening at Night on the Chronic Town version, Radio Free Europe, and it's super fast. It's like the Hibtone style on Letterman when they did it. Just Google it. It's on YouTube. Yeah, REM, man, they fucking shredded. I mean, Peter, it's just so crazy. Mills is like, they were really fucking raging good at that time as a live band. And that's the other thing too. Like I've talked before about REM early on was like a legendary bootleg tape trading band because they were so fucking good live. Yeah, Garland's comes out in 82. Yep, for sure. I'm not a huge fan of super early head over heel, like early Cocteaus. It's so Banshees that I don't get into it. It's like Banshees at 33, you know what I mean, instead of 45. Strawberry and Wine from MBV straight up sounds like 5 tracks of Gardening at Night with vocals. Yeah, no, for sure. All the Sunny Sunday Smile shit is like, not a fan. But yeah, this is also, I mean, so at the same time you have Pac-Man Fever, but you do have the Oak Ridge Boys' big hit, Bobby Sue. So that's not over yet. The South is still strong. See my hairy knuckles? I'm so... Did Crass start the "Don't Pay More Than Blank" thing? I don't know if REM would have ever heard of Crass. I don't know. I mean, they talk about how they met because they both bought a copy of Songs of the Humpback Whale or some shit in a record store. Yeah, no, I think Garland's a shit. Tears for Fears, Mad World. Is Change 82 or 83? You can't change. I mean, a fucking xylophone pop song, that shit rips. Yeah, so sorry, I'm deep in the fucking chat right now. So Pac-Man Fever, you know, Key Largo was in there too. Rick Springfield's Don't Talk to Strangers, I don't know. But and then Van Halen's cover of Pretty Woman is then too, which is so grim. They were in bad shape. But so, you know, one of the big undercurrent things is Edge of 17 is at this time. So you have like Mirage is coming out and Stevie Nicks is blown the fuck up and they didn't necessarily expect that she would with the solo record. But yeah, it's Edge of 17, you know, I've told the story or I've written the story before. But basically what happened is Stevie Nicks went to her guitarist, Greg Wachtel, and she's like, okay, I got this demo from some college kids. Can you take a listen to it? And they want to see if I want to do something with this song. So he's playing Bring on the Night by the Police, like trying to replicate it. Because Stevie Nicks told him it was a demo from some college kids who were like fans and sent her a tape. She fucking lied to her guitarist and had him write a note for note ripoff of Bring on the Night, Andy Summers' like signature fucking lick. And that's what Edge of 17 is. It's unfucking believable. Like there should have been lawsuits. It's so ridiculous. It's always pissed me off. Anyway, so Willie Nelson, Always on My Mind, was charting then too. But yeah, Don't You Want Me starts to stomp up the charts, you know, like I was saying in the spring. It's in April in America. We Got the Beat comes out and I Love Rock and Roll. And it's like, there's this huge, the whole first half of the year is this tension between these new voices. To be fair, the Police song guitar part changes after the intro. How is that fair? I don't give a shit if it changes. It exists and they ripped it off. It's fucking ridiculous. And, you know, Charlie Daniels Band, like I said, Oak Ridge Boys, like there's still that division. What's the other big shift? Oh, we talked about Ebony and Ivory and that driving sales of that ridiculously pile of shit record. And then another standout like new wave one hit wonder is 8675309 by Tommy Two-Tone. That's like the knack level. You've never heard of anything else this person's done, kind of a thing. But yeah, one of my favorite, you know, ham fucking bar band rock songs. I'm so caught up in you, little girl. 38 Special is this time. They're still there. But yeah, in terms of, to me, like the Human League's a big thing because the imagery of the dude in makeup and shit in the video is a fucking big deal in America, right? But then when you get deeper into 82, all of a sudden, Tainted Love charts. And I mean, Mark Allman is, so this also swirls around what will be a unnecessarily loud talking point for me, which is the Robert Smith, Steve Severin side project, The Glove, Blue Sunshine, which is in 83. It's one of my favorite records ever. I think it's one of the most original recordings in the history of pop music. But they were friends with Mark Allman while he was blowing up on Tainted Love and baby, baby, where did our love go? What an amazing fucking double A side. Holy shit, man. That fucking drum machine of Tainted Love and Where Did Our Love Go, man. I mean, look, I think in a big way, the Jesus and Mary Chain are fucking bullshit because all they are is that fucking single through a distortion pedal. Write that down. That's a good one. I don't even know that story, Joe. That's interesting. I guess there's a royalty problem with them having done Where Did Our Love Go and they didn't clear it. I guess that's what you're saying, but I don't know the history of it. If it's in the Wikipedia article, I'll read it later. How ignorant am I? You love how my brain works. That's because it doesn't really work. It's on Wikipedia. Cool. I'll look it up later. I mean, yeah. Anyway, oh God, then we get what's it called? The Pretty Shuffle comes in, which is Rosanna by Toto. So this was popularized ultimately by Bonham. with Fool in the Rain, which is the deuce, 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 deuce. It's the hardest fucking thing to play. Like, you can break your arms when you learn how to drum and like do different things and do ska and fucking off-tempo disco shit, but like the Fool in the Rain, Rosanna, Pretty Shuffle is so fucking hard to play well. I can't even tell you. I've been playing drums since I'm fucking 15. I can't play that shit the right way. I cannot play it the right way with one hand doing the hi-hat and the other doing the snare. I got to fake it with two hands on the hi-hat, which is a bullshit move. Makes me a bullshit drummer. But anyway, they didn't get any pub royalties because A and B sides were both glory. Oh, right. She got it. Of course. I mean, duh. But think about it. Yeah, they fucked themselves on doing a cover in pub the same way Richard Ashcroft did with fucking Bittersweet Symphony, right? But who the fuck would have ever heard of Richard Ashcroft in America if he didn't do Bittersweet Symphony? So, like, to me, getting in a legal royalty publishing conflict over something that makes you famous is a very worthwhile trade. That's net positive. Did I mention Flex Your Head? I mean, I'm going to get to. I got to break out to do punk and stuff. We're like 45 minutes in. Peter Gabriel, yeah, Games Without Frontiers actually charted in both countries. Like, yeah, he had crossed over big time. Is Security 82? Because Security is like my favorite Peter Gabriel record. I thought it was 83, but if it's 82, I should talk about Security because fuck, man. That's 82. So this ties into the music supervisor thing because there was a period, there's this whole problem with trailers, right? Trailer monothink, like hive mind, is a huge problem. Everyone does the same fucking trailers, right? They do the same vibe. Like it was the solo piano Mad World, everyone's got to have that. Then it's like that distorted vocal. Whoa! Whoa! Everyone's doing the Kanye hits. And then everyone's doing the sub bass drops in their movie trailers, right? Well, in the late 90s, someone found Rhythm of the Heat by Peter Gabriel off Security, and every fucking trailer up through Mel Gibson's Passion had Rhythm of the Heat as the trailer with the big crescendo at the fucking end. God, I love that song. I mean, as a drummer, like as a young kid trying to become a drummer in like 7th fucking grade and 12, 13 years old, because I wanted to be like, hang out with kids that were in bands. God, the drums, I Have the Touch, they're fake. It's all Fairlight CMI, but it's real recordings of a real drummer put on the Fairlight CMI and panned across so you could pitch it. But it's the first truly digital recording, Security. It's a fact. It is the first album that is DDD, digital. It's never been done before. The sounds on that album never left the Fairlight CMI workstation. Yeah, I know. The Weezer cover of Rosanna, when he tries to play that beat, it's painful. Holy shit. Yeah, I Shock the Monkey, everything. I Have the Touch, Lay Your Hands on Me even, which is this ponderous fucking thing about him being into Jungian philosophy and going on a fucking healing journey in Africa or some shit. It's so fucking embarrassing. He is so full of shit, but in an honest way. Like he knows he's full of shit or whatever. And he's always exploring and cheating on his wife or whatever. I don't need to get that shit. But anyway, man, I fucking love Security. It's such a fucking important album to me. I got it in 6th grade from the BMG or Columbia House Tape Club. And I just remember hearing that and being like, what the fuck? And I think the reason is because I had obviously, like any fucking 11-year-old, I had So in 86. And there's a remix or re-recorded version of I Have the Touch, which is a B-side to, I don't know if it's Big Time or Sledgehammer, but it's this awful, really like spruced up 80s funk DX7 kind of weak wonk wonk version of I Have the Touch. When I heard the original, you can hear the air. It's the weirdest thing, and I'm totally crazy, but when you listen to that guitar that's just lilting in the verses of I Have the Touch, it's just like dang-a-da-dang, da-dang-a-dang. You can hear the air of that track. For some reason, you can hear that like it's outside. It's the weirdest thing. He made so many fucking crazy choices. Like that guy so justifiably built his own studio in Real World because he's a fucking genius. I mean, they took his shit off Spotify again? Again? I mean, his whole discography was on it not even like 6 months ago. Rhythm of the Heat's about Young, obviously. Yeah, I mean, that's half the album is. Security is just so good. And it's funny, too, because there's 2 different covers. There's the original cover with the fucked up, weird alien or African mask or something. And then there's the Then there's the US reissue where they made him put a sticker on it that said security, because they're like, dude, you've done 3 fucking albums called Peter Gabriel. This is not how it works. The album needs to have a fucking title, man. And so they put a sticker on it that said security without asking. It's not even, it's actually Peter Gabriel 4. But yeah, the American one where there's like him biting into a kind of stereoscoped video. It's fucking great. I hope it's back, because I mean, fucking Peter Gabriel rules. It's corny. Yeah, it's MOR, whatever. I cannot find the short film, the album covers from anywhere online. I don't know. Maybe it's like a cursed image. Anyway, we're in June. Don't you know? Crimson and Clover, you know, also Joan had, that was a bigger hit than people realized too, actually. Her cover of Crimson and Clover actually got in the top 5. And a lot of people also don't know this. They don't, well, maybe they do, and maybe I'm assuming something, but Ray Parker Jr. had a top 5 hit way before Ghostbusters, The Other Woman. That's why Ray Parker Jr. got called to rip off I Want a New Drug for Ghostbusters. Yeah, Da Da Da, that was massive, and that did get over here. Trio's joke song with are they suede heads? Like, what's the joke? I'm sure, I hope they're not skinheads, but like they were boot boys, like Rude Boys or something. Are they from Belgium? Is that where Trio's from? I don't know. Yeah, Da 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 was huge. Was that Love and Rockets side project too? Was that 82? Go! They're from Germany, Trio. Okay, yeah, Da 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 was big novelty hit. That was Dr. Demento. That was doing Dr. Demento numbers. Was that Love and Rockets Tones on Tail? Was that 82? Someone look up if Tones on Tail was 82, because that was huge. Nobody knew who they were, and you didn't need to know who the bands were, because everything was just like a song. Everything was being evaluated on the catchiness of the song, and it was like, you know, a band would just be a band because they had a hit song. They only had one song. It was 84. Wow, that's late. Wow, fuck. Go was 84. Minus points, man. Minus points. And that was what? That was David J in the band with him? I don't remember. I was all right. At some point, we are going to get into how embarrassingly huge I was into Love and Rockets, which is to say, Seventh Dream of a Teenage Heaven is one of the best albums ever in the 80s for rock. Again, I talk about shoegaze foundation. Seventh Dream of a Teenage Heaven is the fucking one of the Rosetta Stones. Like Dog End of a Day Gone By, fuck. We'll get there when we get to that point. But my point being, I was also into the other stuff, like No New Tale to Tell, not the Ball of Confusion cover, but I was just massive because they had a huge hit in So Alive, and that's a gateway fucking period for me. This is I think it was 7th or 8th grade when that record came out with Motorcycle and So Alive, and oh my God, it was huge. Anyway, no, English Settlement was 82, and I mentioned it earlier. It was a massive fucking chart hit in England, out on the album charts. The first big Black EP is 82. Oh my God. Yeah, I should probably get this over with. But the Motels had Only the Lonely. This is another one that was going to be in the music supervisor thing. A lot of people don't know this story. The Motels were supposed to record Take My Breath Away for Top Gun. Giorgio Moroder knew Berlin, the band, and he wrote that song, if you don't know. And the labels wanted the Motels because they had 2 big hits, Suddenly Last Summer and Only the Lonely. They wanted the Motels to record it. They did a demo of it, of Take My Breath Away. But Moroder was like, nah, I got this band over here in Europe and Berlin I like, and we're doing that. And the whole reason that I even have this whole story is because it relates to Atomic Blonde, which is going to be the first video in my music supervisor series, which is that they couldn't afford, well, not that they couldn't afford it. I don't know if I'm repeating this from another video, but the way music supervision contracts and sync licenses used to work is that if you had a song synced with a motion picture in America, the term of that sync was 95 years. So if you had a song that was originally composed for the soundtrack of a film, the rights to it were exclusive for 95 years. So when they tried to get Take My Breath Away for Atomic Blonde for the big fight scene, which uses George Michael's father figure as a replacement, which actually works out well because you get that tail end sort of really bad stereotypical, like Oriental, disgusting ethnic progression at the end. That's a great walkout for that scene, and they used it great. But that's supposed to be And again, I'm getting all the music supervisor shit. That's supposed to be a diegetic cue. Like, it's supposed to be playing in the room. There's diegetic cues and there's non-diegetic cues. Non-diegetic cues are like soundtrack, like taking over what, like wipe the audio and play the song. That's non-diegetic. Diegetic is like you're in a bar and the song is playing atmospherically, environmentally. That's a diegetic music cue. And Father Figure, Take My Breath Away was supposed to be the diegetic cue for the big fight scene in Atomic Blonde. They couldn't get it. Not because they couldn't afford it, but because the rights to that kind of thing is so fucked up that you couldn't unpack it. The guy who did it, the guy who was the music supervisor on that, I said this elsewhere too, he did Deadpool. He's been working since like the mid 90s. I think he did, anyway, I'm on a tangent. But yeah, so again, I talked about Eye of the Tiger. I mean, this I remember too, like because I remember being this age. In 82, I'm 7. Right? Yeah. And it's like, you know, I said Eye of the Tiger, fucking Rosanna, like, this all feels like my friend has Atari. Like, I'm at my friend's house playing Atari. These are the songs I'm hearing. Oh yeah, Sexual Healing. Fuck, that was controversial as hell because it had the word sexual in, you know, in the title there. Like, I don't know if my parents would have wanted me to hear that. There it is. Jesus Christ. Anyone in England or Europe is just you're gonna cry. This is all we can get, man. I've been over there. I've had real Guinness, and yeah, you know, the cliche is true. It's not even fucking close. But John Courage, director's bitter. Both Alan Partridge and myself, favorite brew. I downed so much of that shit when I was over there in 2002. Oh my God. I think I gained 30 fucking pounds between curry chips and fucking director's bitter. Fuck. Oh, it's disgusting to think about it. Go. Yeah. Striker. Anyway, so you know, I mean, again, I've sort of taken the tone of 82 and gone through it. But then, yeah, so then another big shift, I guess, in the fall, 2 big singles that come up. Hurts So Good. We talked about this, John Cougar, and Steve Miller Band, because I called that out. I was like, wait, no, they're coming back, which is Abracadabra. That song was fucking huge. Abracadabra, like, when is Alan Parsons' project do Eye in the Sky? Oh my God, that song creeps me out so fucking bad. It's like You Got Lucky, Tom Petty, Eye in the Sky, like these haunting synth songs. They kind of freaked me the fuck out. That was Liquid Football. Eye in the Sky is 82. I fucking knew it. Like, I know this shit. I knew it from looking at another fucking song that cued that to me. That song is so good. The production on Eye in the Sky, the fucking harmonies. Don't cry. Oh, wait. Excuse me. The harmonies and like the way that explodes, and the bridge is just, oh my God, the bridge is just like a fucking opera. The notes, the scales, oh my God. I know it's such a fucking washed out, basic fucking 80s chill wave song, but God, I love Eye in the Sky. It's just like totally going through my head right now. To know that I can read your mind. It's like this creepy, weird, fucking haunting. Ugh. Shit gives me chills, man. I love that shit. Yeah, so any weird one? Oh, and then my boys, the Gap Band. You dropped a bomb on me as 82. What's up? That's prepping a lot of shit. I made a joke on Twitter how fucking Dua Lipa sounds like fucking the Gap Band. So much shit sounds like the Gap Band. They were fucking so good. Oh man. I mean, yeah, sort of repetitive, you know, but they had a sound, so fuck it, repeat it. I mean, you know, yeah, it's the history, it's Parliament, it's all the things that led up to it. I love I don't know, I fucking, man, love the Gap Band. You got a lot of production history to it as well. It's a war crime to not listen to Sirius before Eye in the Sky. That's excellent. Yes. Oh, that's good. Cadabra and Grab Ya is a pathetic rhyme. Really? I mean, is Steve Miller known for anything if not the pompous of love? The guy is the biggest fucking mushmouth shitburger lyrically ever. It's fucking brutal. I mean, that's his whole deal. Gap Band 4, Early in the Morning. Oh yeah, Stone Classic. No, Thriller comes out late. I mean, this again, people don't understand. Like when I tell the Thriller story, I don't know if I'm gonna. I wore this thinking I was gonna tell the Thriller story, but we're already in an hour, and I kind of. But yeah, and then the other Joan Jett cover, this charted too. She covered "Do You Want to Touch," Gary Glitter. It's not good. It's a really bad cover. It's super flat. Not good at all. Hot in the city. Billy Joel's big sellout comes on here. This is where Billy Joel was just. Did I say Billy Joel? Billy Idol has started doing so many fucking drugs in New York and has so much money coming from the label and shit that he's just like, what the fuck ever it takes to sustain this bullshit. I'm done. He's such a junkie fuck up. If you haven't read Billy Idol's book, get it. It's really fucking good. You gotta like wipe away a hefty amount of bravado and narcissism and ego. But there, you know, I'd say 50% of it, he's refreshingly revealing about where he was at, the relationships he was in, the drug use he was in. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. And he tells a really fucked up story about his near-death experience when he had his motorcycle crash. It's fucking scary. But yeah, at this point, Idol is just like, whatever you guys tell me to do, gack it. Which is funny because he's not even, like, he's basically fucking homeless and stealing shit. He's like as bad as Steve Jones by 82. Then he gets out to LA and he's just like, I'm the man. And he just does whatever the fuck he wants. And so does Steve Jones. Steve Jones' Lonely Boy is also a great book you should read. I mean, talk about, you know, refreshing. I mean, he talks about he was stealing shit from people who were letting him sleep at their house. He was so bad. It's, you know, it's cool. It's fucking cool. Because Steve's, you know, he comes from a fucking hardcore rough background. Fucked up shit. But anyway, Eye in the Sky. There it is. I don't know how high that gets. Eye in the Sky shows up in August. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and Eye in the Sky and Jack and Diane. Who Can It Be Now? I talked about, you know, fucking Men at Work. This is that 82 is, it's starting, like there's these bursts of new wave and new, you know, new shit. And they're pushing out, you know, Eye of the Tiger, and these things are trying to. But then what happens? Chicago. Hard to say I'm sorry. Like there's no winning yet. 82 is the battle for the preeminence of MTV, of new, you know, FM, pop, sheen, look good, start doing coke, fucking pastel shirts and white jackets. You know, that the fight starts in 82, but there's still two places, you know. Oh, Laura Branigan's Gloria was 82. God, I hate that song. Gloria. Like, it doesn't fit in the pentameter. Why are you trying to use Gloria? Like, jam it in there. That drove me fucking crazy. The way she would try and rush the two syllables of Gloria to make them fit with the stretch of the note. Oh, I hated that. I'm like fucking roasting Laura Branigan. The worthwhile use of my time. Tube starts on UK in 82. Yes, very true, Paul Yates. That's huge. We have box sets of old Grey Whistle Test and shit, and obviously TOTP, but the Tube is a very big player. Yeah, I know. We know 1999 is this year. I mean, it's just, we're trying to, because 83 is just like, you're talking a totally different universe of superstardom for the Prince, for, you know, Culture Club, for the Police, for Cyndi Lauper. Like 83 is, it's like 82 is like sort of the world that existed for the last 20 years still exists. 83 is like WrestleMania. Like you go so dramatically off the fucking planet with suspension of disbelief for celebrity culture in 83 that it's just like, I mean, it was like scary fucked up. How different 83 is. And Excess didn't really hit with Shawa Woo Ba, whatever. That wasn't that big. College, yeah, sure. In Excess does new shit until Listen Like Thieves in America on a commercial level, like at all. Wrestling is real. Hey, hell yeah, it is. I watched the Andre the Giant documentary last night for the 500th time. I love hearing stories about him drinking 106 beers. Any other standouts here? We're into September, so we're almost done with this, and we can go into the punk shit for the last like half an hour, and hip hop too, because I mean, this is when the message comes out. We talked about the message, you know, in the past, but like Curtis Blow, that's like 80, 81. Like the message doesn't come out until this year. So, you know, the popular understanding, conception, like the notion of hip hop as a genre, as a new form of music, popular culture, it's not until 82. Anyway. Oh God, yes. Very important to get in there. Lift us up where we belong. Joe Cocker. Oh my God. That song, Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warnes. I talked about the duet thing. I talked about it. Kenny, you know, Islands in the Stream. This was such a persistent fucking thing. Sky's Gone Out was 82. Yeah, Bauhaus really got on some shit at the end. That band is so fucking infuriating, Bauhaus. They just weren't good. I'm sorry. They just weren't good. They were never good. They never spent enough time on their shit. They got lucky with Bela Lugosi, and like a lot of their shit was just half-assed. They didn't, I don't know. They didn't have any interest in writing songs or crafting. They were reacting against it. You know, who the fuck knows? I don't know. I always thought Bauhaus was just like a complete fucking name more than music. It's a name and an image thing with goth and punk kids. I just don't think the music fucking stands up at all. Sorry. I've heard it all. You know, great cover of David Bowie. What a fucking massive head dig out the crate call that is. Who came up with that? Hey guys, I'm thinking we can do a twist on the fucking Beatles. I don't know. Sky's Gone Out is good. That's what I'm saying. But it took them until Sky's Gone Out to make a fucking good record. You know? Meanwhile, like, you know, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to, it's stupid. There's the song I was getting into when I was going off on Billy Joel. When I went on my like 20-minute fucking Billy Joel freak the fuck out, it was Pressure. That song and the video, which is fucking terrifying when I was a kid. Pressure and like Turn On Your Heart Light. Oh, it's just the fucking amount of filth and the carpets of homes in the early 80s and late 70s is like so fucking gross. Oh. But yeah, Pressure, man. Wow. So huge. Joe Jackson, Stepping Out. You know, he had his whole thing. You know, he was, that first record, Look Sharp, is, I had a little thing with it for a minute. I'm not going to lie. Not just because of people who died. That's not the best song by far. It's cute. It's a good, like, one-hit wonder joke. I gotta look this up before I forget this other thing. Anyway, by the time he gets to you know, Look Sharp, it's like a whole different thing. But you know, I'm the Man was the one like I was talking about. You know, that's I mean, that title song rips so fucking hard. I'm the Man. Like that's his. I don't give a shit about his whether he sold out or whatever. People who died and all the fucking different little, you know, pops and hits and things he's had come up. Like and that forgotten fucking album. What was the one after this? After I'm the Man, Beat Crazy. Yeah, anyone fucking bought that. Yeah, I don't know. It's he's such a weird case, dude. I don't know. It's he had a lot of connections. He knew people. You know, I don't know. It'd be boring to go over it anymore. But like, you know, Jim Carroll Band was big too, and there were a lot of these weird kind of middle of the roady people who'd been around. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not going to spend time talking about fucking Joe Jackson, but you know, Yeah, I just think of like if Jim Carroll had songwriters, he would have been. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I have this weird thing. It's all totally in my head. Nothing I'm saying right now makes any sense to fucking anybody. These are just like neurons I have that are fused of like, what if somebody had turned left and, anyway. Oh God. Oof. Jefferson Starship. God damn. But yeah. So at the very end, we're getting into fall. This is when like Rock This Town, Stray Cats blows up. Ambient 3 is the worst one. Yeah, probably. Well, no, what's the second one? No, Plateau of Mirror? I don't fucking know. But Gypsy, Fleetwood Mac is in there, Eye in the Sky. This is all kind of how it ends. And then you get Maneater. That's when Daryl Hall and John Oates really fucking go. And everyone, like anybody who was alive at this time, for me, I guess I shouldn't generalize. Sambello's Maniac from Flashdance and Maneater somehow occupy this weird space because like they're not similar at all, but I don't know, weird. Maneater. But yeah, Stepping Out goes to 9. It broke the top 10. Fuck. Diana Ross had a big hit too. Muscles we should respect. Oh God, Cheap Trick's The Flame. That is going to be a rough. Oh my God, Don't Be Cruel in the Flame. Lap of Luxury. I remember the fucking album name. That was big. Patty Austin, Baby Come to Me. Up Where We Belong again just goes huge. And then Lionel Richie, has his big shit at this time. Is there anything else here when we get to the end of the year before I just click off and go to punk? Important to note, Space Age Love Song actually did chart. The second Flock of Seagulls song, which is actually a excuse me, I have such a bad gas. It's so gassy. So embarrassing. Excuse me. I love Space Age Love Song. I mean, I don't know. It's used in the Gator Rogowski documentary Stoked. They show him, they show his girlfriend, his first girlfriend, dancing the Space Age Love Song from that skate video. I don't know if it was who the fuck it was, which one it was rather, but Space Age Love Song is great. Incredible guitar tone, and gets no credit because everybody just thinks about The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen and all the big teardrop guitar, seagull guitar type sounds, and blah, 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 and the delays and chorus and shit. But like the guitarist in Flock of Seagulls did some crazy fucking good studio shit on that first album. Space Age is proto shoegaze, sure, definitely. Space Age Love Song is fucking great. Same dude who produced that Hall & Oates album, produced death metal. Yeah. Pretenders. Oh no, yeah, we mentioned Pretenders for Brass and Pocket earlier. Oh, the Waitresses are great. Yes. Out of Context Twitter. Let's go. I'm not looking at Discord or Twitter. I can't. Anyway, yeah. I mean, we're about to turn into 83, and 83 is just so fucking ridiculous. Let's just not even go there. But yeah, again, 82, the standout thing again is that England gets New Wave first. And Do You Really Want to Hurt Me is one of the biggest songs of the year. Come On Eileen was the #1 song that year. You also have Pass the Dutchie, which did well in America, actually, the video for Musical Youth. So you're finally getting some like black music in the charts and on TV. Golden Brown by the Stranglers was 82. Ugh, not my thing. And other one-hit wonders like Tony Basil's Mickey, which is a great fucking song. Full credit to her. It's a great song. But yeah, somebody mentioned Mad World was this year. And you still have the persistent success of Bucks Fizz. But like in England, the one-hit wonders, somebody mentioned Trio, but like fucking what was it? Fat Larry. Fat Larry had a big hit. Anybody who's awake or in the chat, Fat Larry and the Guys, what the fuck was that? What was it called? Fat Larry? I'm not Googling. Zoom, yeah! Fuck, man. Fat Larry's band, Zoom. That shit is fucking hilarious. Oh, man. You had Rocker's Revenge, too. They Walking on Sunshine, that was big. But yeah, I mean, the whole ABC thing is a blank spot for me. Captain Sensible had his solo record in 82. From The Damned. That stupid shit when he was going on children's shows and like, oh man, everyone wanted to kick his ass. He was, oh my God. Happy Talk, yes. Oh my God. Yeah, the shit in England was super weird. Da 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 was like a top 50, I think. Madness had like 5 songs probably in the top. But like Culture Club's already charting heavy, you know? Like it wasn't just Do You Want to Hurt Me? Like Time. God, I love Time. It's one of the most beautiful fucking love songs ever written. Time, Clock of the Heart by Culture Club. Boy George, his vocal register and how long he was able to hold that kind of mid tension on a note without it going nasal. The run up, the last measure into the chorus of Time. He's a really fucking underrated technical singer in my view. And Time Clock of the Heart is one of his best performances. I mean, I did a whole video. I did 2 huge videos about him and about Culture Club's moment and the transition out of the Sex Pistols. It's on a podcast. So go, like, all my podcasts are out there on Spotify and everywhere fucking else that you can get them. I re-recorded the entire second video that I did about Boy George because the audio was all fucked up and what the fuck was I going to do? So I just re-recorded the whole thing and it's way more, it's not like I had a script. I was just talking out my ass and I prepped for it. And so the podcast Boy George Part 2 is like one of the best episodes ever. It has one of my favorite little edits where I talk about the transition from Joy Division to New Order. But anyway, I guess, yeah, it's Kid Creole actually charted in 82. That's right. In England. Again, weird shit. But yeah, this is Arthur's theme. Kid Creole had 2 big hits. What was it? Annie and I can't remember. I wasn't a big fan, but like, yeah, weird shit like that was blowing up over there. And it is the beginning of, and like we talked about Depeche Mode having Just Can't Get Enough being in 81 and See You is 82. Adam Ant, we talked about Adam Ant starting to blow up. Ant Rap, God, that's not remembered. But this is also even the start of what the fuck was it? 82 is the first single. Talk Talk is the first single in England. Was Today, and these are weird things. And somebody also asked me to talk about Bow Wow Wow, right? We were talking about Adam the Ants. Annie, I'm Not Your Daddy. That's right. Yeah. Same label as Waitresses. The whole Adam Ant thing and Bow Wow Wow is funny because I go listen to that Boy George podcast because I talk about the fact that what happened is Malcolm McLaren stole Adam's band from him and formed Bow Wow Wow with Annabelle Lewin, who was a 15-year-old laundrette clerk. And she's nude on the cover of the album at 15. That's okay. Rip Christina, Zay Records, what's up? I tweeted out a picture of that. And that whole Kid Creole scene there's so much interaction. Everybody worked with everybody, and it's the Z Records story is unfucking believable. It didn't make money, but it made art, and it's an interesting thing. It's got very much of a New York mindset and posture to it. But everybody was allowed to move out of that kind of guarded scene policing and do their own thing in a way that a lot of these scenes don't let bands do. And it's a weird esoteric point, but so Bow Wow Wow, Go Wild in the Country, all the early shit. I Want Candy, I don't think is 82 until in America. I'm not sure, but go listen to those Boy George podcasts. I go into the whole history of the whole interplay between, Adam, Boy, Malcolm, Vivian, fucking all these people and their attempt to survive and form a next move out of the Sex Pistols. And we'll get into that big fucking time next episode with Duck Rock. Because that is a fucking massive record for me. I mean, it's 82. Buffalo Gals is 82 as a single, I think. But I don't think the album comes out because Punk It Up is the song that I would just go fucking off on. But like hip hop really, this is when hip hop starts in the popular consciousness, as I said. The videos getting on MTV for The Message, Treacherous 3 are out, and who's another big one? I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm not expert, in the whole history of this. I'm not going to pretend that I'm like a hip hop, head. But it starts to really make its first strides, you know. Oh, someone mentioned Flipper. Yeah, Flipper was 82. Generic was 82. Have you ever looked at a flower and hated it? That's all they had to say. Fear. We didn't talk about Fear in 81, which they were on SNL on Halloween, and, you know, Lorne Michaels freaked out, and famously Ian MacKaye was in the pit and all that shit. Fear the record is fucking ripping. That was in the summer for punk. Fucking Let's Have a War. Oh my God. I don't like, you know, beef bologna, but Let's Have a War. That is some fucking rad methamphetamine drumming. Serious shit. Milo Goes to College is fucking 82 too. And the replacements, who I forgot for 81, stink with Go and Kids Won't Follow. God, I love that. And there's this whole rumor that Dave Pierner from Soul Asylum is the kid who screams like, fuck you, man, when the cops are shutting down the show. I don't know that I believe that. The Damn Strawberries is this year, and whatever. And Bad Religion and Black Flag too are you know, totally going off at this point. So I mean, you know, punk is in England, it becomes kind of a joke. It becomes, you know, like I said, oi. But in America, it's like kind of strong-ish. As I mentioned at the top, the Clash sidetracked that, and the Clash become like what suburban kids are going to cling to as like their, you know, moderate semi-punk thing. But it's also when Gang of Four bottom out with Songs of the Free, which I can't stand. God, it's awful. I Love a Man in Uniform is just such an embarrassment to their legacy. I fucking hate that shit. Modern English started out too. After the Snow was this year. We talked about Psych Furs already. What else was this year? Oh, and I talked about how Kiss in the Dream House and Juju was, you know, I don't know. Susie, Kaleidoscope seemed like they were going to like go off, but then you get two records that are like not that great. I don't know. I'm very specific in my Susie thing. But anyway, I mean, most of the big sort of records at that time are, you know, we've kind of covered. In terms of punk and post-punk, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of big names and things like I say, Milo Goes to College and stuff, and that informs what, you know, eventually, like, you know, I Can't Prevent Beethoven and shit. Beastie Boy. Oh, was that the Cookie Puss? Was 82? Really? Walk Among Us is 82. Hell yeah, it is. There's so much big American punk stuff. Yeah, Mission of Burma's Verse with their best song, in my view, Trem 2. God, I love that song. God, that's a great song. Bringing together that, like, pulling Trem 2, like, the architecture of that song is so fucking good. MDC, yeah, sure. Yep, MDC was big. Did I talk Kate Bush? Not really. I mean, you know, it's all there, Dreaming. Like, I don't know. I mean, I can't talk about everything. Yeah, the Jam split up, and like one bullshit single charted in England, I think, on the news that they were breaking up. I don't know. Weller goes into Style Council, and I have no fucking time for the Style Council at fucking all. I mean, that's one of the big things. Like, a lot of critic-minded or like big obsessive fans and shit, they love that. They love Style Council. They love Prefab Sprout. I hate all that shit. I don't know. There's this whole thing, this whole mode, or I don't know what you'd call it. It just does not fucking hit with me at all. I massively endorse Style Council. Go with God, my son. Town Call Malice. No, that wasn't. I don't think that was the one that charted in 82. Is that the actual Brine Bombs? You ruined my career, fucker. All right, we should probably wrap. It's 1:24. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes pure comment shit. Hit me. I mean, come on. We're almost got 60 people on stream, baby. Yes, it was. Beat Surrender was. That's right. Beat Surrender was the one that charted in England. That was like a pity single. This is Boston, not LA. Yeah, the Proletariat from fucking Cape Cod, the Freeze. That This is Boston, not LA's landmark shit for Boston. I don't know that it's not. I mean, if you like you know, proto hardcore shit, it's all there. Do I like Yellow Magic Orchestra? Not particularly, no. What do I think of the Jesus Lizard? I probably liked them too much for a long time. So I'd put it. I mean, Liar was an absolutely fucking massive record for me. When I heard Boilermaker, I was just like, oh, this is what's inside me right now. Thank you. You know, Gladiator. God damn, the bass sound and the drums, everything about Jesus Lizard. If you're, you know, just fucking right in there for me. God damn. I love that band. I still love Goat and Liar. And you know, I think Yao's whole shtick was, if I'd been older, I would have been like, saw this movie. It was called Iggy Pop. And a lot of older critics did fucking dismiss them. Chris Gow famously thought they were dog shit. Yeah, I talked about Musical Youth earlier quickly. They were incredible in concert because Dwayne, and I don't think it was necessarily down to David Yao at all. It's the band. They were so fucking good. Dancing Naked Ladies live. Oh my fucking God. Oh man. They had so many good ones. You know, obviously Mouth Breather and the shit on Goat is great. I mean, I trolled all of Pitchfork when we did our best of the 90s list by putting Goat at number 2, just because I knew no one else was going to chart it. So I was like, well, fuck you. You know, this is your version of the 90s, and you guys don't even, no one has charted a Jesus Lizard record. Literally nobody except me. Fuck you guys. Gladiator is absolutely savagely fucking awesome, and it never stops. It just keeps going up and up and up and up. But like Liar is kind of a comp. Like they just had no choice but to get a record out because of the Nirvana exposure with Puss and Oh the Guilt, that single. And so they had to get a fucking record out. So they just pulled shit from 2 different sessions. It's not really an album. Evelyn Champagne King, Robert Smith loves Evelyn Champagne King. That's how I heard about her. Get Loose was 82, yeah. Linda Ronstadt's Come Closer is a great record. Agree, that's 82 as well. Manic Street Preachers, why would you ask me about that in 1982? I don't know. Faith Void is 82. Yeah, Faith Void. I think that gets too much noise gets made about that. People are always looking for like the fucking, you know, the stone, like the lodestone of X. And I think the Faith Void split is like a meme at this point to me. I don't think it was that important at any point in my life. I enjoy it, but like, you know, this iconic status we have to assign. Get the fuck out of here. It should be out of step. Like, what are you kidding me? Nobody, I mean, it wasn't big. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody had it. It became this like crusade of people who wanted to prove their, you know, oh, I go all the way back to this. Nobody heard about this. Like record collector fucking cred points, blow me. I have no time for that shit. That's why I never got along with music critics, because that's all they're doing is playing top trumps with fucking record collections. What a fucking waste of time. Who gives a shit? Flex your head. No, fuck, I don't have time. No, I agree. The Void side's way better. Totally agree about that. No, nobody listened to Negative Approach, but they fucking ripped. I do actually love that shit. They were great. I mean, this, you know, suburban punk starts to become a thing around this time in America. And that's where you get the Gangrenes and, you know, Negative Approach. And like, that's just new because it takes a long fucking time for shit to get around. Der Kommissar, Falco is 82. That's a great fucking jam. Fuck the After the Fire version. Those guys can fucking suck it. Bad Brains debut. God, Jesus, there's one we missed. Yeah, fuck. I mean, it was almost too crazy for me, Bad Brains. I couldn't get into it. It's just so mental, you know? So like mental and performative and shit. I wasn't into it. I never was a big Bad Brains guy. I mean, I guess you know, by that point, yeah, sure, you know. I was super specific about like punk hardcore bands that I liked. And I really didn't bother with like, oh, I got to educate myself. I got to know all about this. I got to buy every 7-inch and you know, all that shit. And I just didn't bother. I just, you know, yeah. And the whole DC scene is just so fucking boring. I'm sorry. Like, it's so fucking boring. I have Banned in DC, Cynthia Connelly's book, and the self-mythologizing around Discord and the whole DC scene is so fucking stupid. It's a bunch of fucking high school kids, like, who are in the right place at the right time. The idea that any of the music that came out of this is really, truly legendary, like, I don't fucking buy that at all. Like, I love Margin Walker. I love 13 songs. I love Steady Diet of Nothing. You know, yeah, sure. It's not that big a fucking deal. Fugazi got made way too big a fucking deal by people after the fact. I was there as a teenager. I saw them twice. They weren't that great live at that time. I think they got really good later by the time I didn't give a shit about them. Like all these people that were screaming about how Red Medicine was so good, I was like, this is fucking dog shit. This sounds like Bruce Springsteen. Fuck off. Fugazi is washed. But like all these people in Chicago and Pitchfork people that I was talking to were like freaking out about the fucking argument. What a fucking piece of shit that record is. They were so fucking boring. Fugazi is just so massively overrated. Such a beat you over the head fucking cred flex from some asshole old dad. I don't do that shit. And that's what was happening with Fugazi as far as I was concerned in the 90s. Like, shut the fuck up. They're such an 80s band. I don't give a shit about what they did in the 90s. You know, Past Facet Squared and on the Kill Taker's okay. But like fucking Pitchfork's going to do like a bullshit video pivot thing about it on the Kill Taker. Such a fucking mediocre record. Like it's so silly. The received wisdom and the insecurity that informs music critics, that's the thing. Like, I just fucking suck that blood. Like, I'm just going to fucking pull you inside out and expose that. Because if you weren't comfortable and you weren't honest about what you really came up with and what really hit for you, and you're just some annotating fucking librarian, doors that way. I have no fucking time for that shit. Repeater, yeah, Repeater's huge. That's the t-shirt. Everybody wore the fucking Repeater t-shirt. Repeater is like the branding of Fugazi. I mean, you got like, there was this whole thing of this is not a Fugazi t-shirt. Everyone would write, this is not a Fugazi t-shirt in laundry marker on a white t-shirt. That was like a thing. That was like a scenester pose at that time. You'd write it. It was a joke. Like I had a math book that said, this is not a Fugazi book, or this is not a Fugazi notebook on my math notebook. Because that was like a joke you would make at that time. They were, I mean, massively mimetic. Favorite song on Pornography? The Figurehead. Sonic Youth debut EP. Come on. The Richard Edson is his name. The actor in Stranger Than Paradise was the drummer then. And he was all like super pissed off that his name was on the credits because he wanted to become an actor. He thought it was going to drag him down. What the fuck is up that guy's ass? First Sonic Youth EP, Dream, I Dreamed I Dream, right? Yeah, that song's legend. That's a great fucking prog jam. But the rest of it's dog shit. A Strange Day is a pop song. That's Chris Perry forcing them to write a pop song. A Strange Day is just the pop song. It's garbage. I love it, but like, you know, I played it in my Cure cover band. Go look at my channel, The Lid, Battle of the Bands, 1991. We play A Strange Day. I wrote an entire fucking article about it on my Substack. You can go look it up. Like, I'm talking now, looking back, A Strange Day is like a disposable pop song that Chris Perry made him write because Chris Perry's dailies are like Siamese twins, cold, fucking, like, can you imagine a guy at a major record label at Polydor getting rushes from the Pornography sessions with Phil Thornalley, who ends up, I mean, he works on Seven and the Ragged Tiger for Duran Duran. He's like an in-house engineer. Blade Runner soundtrack, Vangelis. You got, what's that special edition that's like 8 CDs? You got to get that shit. So good. Blade Runner soundtrack is legend. All right, wait, hold on a second. Do you like our owl? It's artificial. Of course it is. Must be expensive. I'm Rachel. God, that scene is so fucking funny. Like, God loves Sean Young, but she just can't act at fucking all, ever. I don't know. Jesus Christ, that scene. This was like shit we'd riff on stoned in college. We just rewatched that fucking scene. Oh, God. Indulge me. This was like The Shining, Blade Runner, These are movies I can recite word for word because we just used to get stoned and watch them over and over again on VHS in college. It's fucking ridiculous. My name is Shawnee. I would not have allowed you to harm our tribe. Oh, God, Dune. What a fucking based movie. Dune was 84, right? It wasn't 82. I don't fucking know. God, I mean, we had the fucking Alan Smithy cut of Dune on VHS in college with like the storyboards over the credits in the beginning from the Jodorowsky storyboards. They put them, and they put this huge voiceover. I think it ran on television only. We had it, and it was like 3.5 hours long, and it's fucking hilarious. There's this voiceover's like, in the distant future, the world is controlled by spies. Like, oh my God, it's so fucking funny. You got to look it up. The Alan Smithy version of Dune is so good. Yeah, based is new. People haven't been saying based since 2006. Yeah, I got that off 4chan. What the fuck are you talking about? Great stream. Go to work, night shift. What's up? Yeah, that's good. We're going to do it. All right, peace. Lil B, you know what's up. Based, red pilled. Oh, wait. Yeah, I didn't get you a good look on this one. This is awesome because it's like this. It's another Rocketa, but it's not huge. It's a realistic, moderate size kind of 60s men's watch. There's a very similar watch to this. If you watch, I love this movie, First Man, the fucking Ryan Gosling, Neil Armstrong movie. He wears something very similar to this. I don't think because of the light you can see it, but there's actually orange ticks on this at the peak of the tick. Oh, it's absolutely fucking beautiful. It's just great fucking Jetsons watch. Another Rocketa. Yeah. That was a good ending. That was fun. Might start wearing watches because of you. Dude, these are like 40, 50. I mean, 40, 50 bucks is not nothing, especially with what's going on right now in the economy. I understand. I don't want to be insensitive. I'm old. I'm in a different place. But like, you can get these things for not that much. There's someone in here posting in Cyrillic. I don't speak Russian. Yes, I am focused on collecting CCCP watches and anything that was designed by a propaganda art house because it is way better face design than any of the bullshit like Rolex and Swiss shit that people pay all this money for, and Patek Phillips. Like, fuck, Hodinkie's watches, full stop. Like, the Grand Seiko is great, but like all these $50,000 John Mayer fucking Hodinkie's watches, fucking blow that shit out of here. Buy weird, good-looking, interesting watches for nothing. They're so fucking cheap. Who gives a shit about the provenance? Oh, it's a Franken watch. Who the fuck cares? You're just wearing something that people can look at. It's a conversation piece. It's fucking fashions. It's an accessory. You can still get so much fucking value for money design-wise out of Soviet-era watches, and it's designed by some of the best artists ever. Yeah, I'm an OG Russian troll. This whole thing is a fucking... Eventually, it's going to come around. I'm going to be like, you know what, guys? You know who has great taste in music? Vladimir Putin. That guy has like OG Cure fucking test pressings in the fucking Kremlin. Fuck off. Have a good night.